Hello, and thank you for joining us for this week's edition of It's Your City. I'm your host, Courtney Bloomer. Today's show is brought to you by Scoop's Ice Cream and Soup Bar, located on McFadden Plaza in Carson City. All year round, a great place to go for a sweet treat or some delicious hot soup. Our guest today is Michele Van Geel. She joins us from the Wild Horse Children's Theater Company here in Carson City. They're about to put on the presentation of Mary Poppins Jr.
Yes, we are. We're very excited about that. We open November 30th, runs for 2 weekends. Great way for some families to come out, get some early holiday entertainment, get ready for the holidays. So we've got about 80 kids in the show, and that includes the children on stage, in addition to some teenage tech crew that we have backstage helping as well. So we're really excited. They're rehearsing right now and doing some run-through with costumes and everything, and we're really excited about it.
So the Wild Horse Children's Theater Company has been around in Carson City for a long time, and they are great at involving the community's kids in their productions. These are basically, the kids do everything, aside from like directing and that sort of thing.
Right, they do, and so it's been fun. My daughter's been doing it for almost 10 years now, and so it's really been an interesting experience watching the kids grow up in the theater and go from on stage to then helping out the younger kids as they come along and working on some of the backstage things as well. Great learning and growing opportunity for them. Last year in 2017, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary, so this is the 11th year for Wild Horse here in Carson City, and great productions. They've got, if you check out our website, wildhorsetheater.com, you can see some of our alumni. They've really learned a lot. We've got kids down working in LA, on stage at Disneyland, behind the scenes, everything, so it's super great learning experience for all of the kids.
Carson City is really a fantastic community. For the size of the community, we have a lot of live theater and a lot of opportunities for community members to be involved in the theater and backstage, both in front and behind the scenes. So this is a really great opportunity for anybody who has an interest in theater to get started, even at a young age. How young can kids be and still participate?
The youngest we start out is at 5, and we one of my favorite parts of when we do the shows is that we have, during the 2 weekends of the shows, we'll have a school production day where different typically elementary school classes can come and take a field trip. So they really work on the community involvement and exposing more of the children and more of the community to the magic of live theater on stage. So that's one of my favorite parts of being involved in it, is just they really do try that community outreach to get everybody involved.
Now, the Wild Horse Children's Theater productions are always like whatever the show is, junior. Talk a little bit about how they adapt these shows to be more appropriate for child actors and also for a young audience.
Yes. So it's, first and foremost, especially when your audience is a little bit younger, they're a little bit shorter. Keep that attention span right. So that's one of the areas. And when we did Annie a couple of years ago, maybe take out some of the, love interests or whatever, some of the adult themed things and keep it more towards the kids. Next summer, actually, one of the productions we're planning on doing is Newsies, and that won't be a junior version. We're actually going to hold that up to 21, so that it will be more of an adult theme. Not adult theme, but it's not limited to just the kids. We are doing a little bit older. It's not the kid version. So I'm not sure what age we're starting at. I don't think it won't start at the 5. So we raise the top age a little bit. But just that's some of the teenage kids were really interested in doing that one. We're going to hold that one at the community center instead of the Brewery Arts Center. Just bigger stage, bigger theater, bigger production.
Well, that'll be a really exciting production too. There's a lot of dancing in that show.
Yes. So a lot of the kids are very excited about that. To get their dancing shoes on and do that production as well. So.
And we should mention that when these kids are not in one of these specific productions, they're still involved. They're taking dance lessons.
They
They're
are.
participating in music lessons and really honing their craft.
Yes. Many of them participate if they're in high school, are doing the high school shows, or if they're in the middle school doing productions there, musical theater classes in the schools, dancing, extracurricular, voice lessons, just like you said. So most of them are very busy all of the time. Sometimes they'll do multiple productions, either with WNC, or some of them do shows up in Reno, Tahoe sometimes. So a lot of the kids that do this is their passion, and they just love being on stage and being involved in all of the aspects of it.
So for kids for whom maybe this is not their passion, or not yet their passion,
right,
who just want to get involved, what do you need to do to become involved as a participant?
Right. You can either email us. Again, it's all on our website. So you could either email or call our producer, Pat Jostin, and she could, when we have our next shows, we just schedule you for an audition slot, and you just come prepared to sing for a minute. We'll put all of the audition information on the website. You practice 1-minute song. They'll teach you the dance when you get there. Everybody who auditions gets a slot in the show, so nobody's turned away. There's a nominal registration fee when you sign up, and even then we do have a scholarship program that if you weren't able to pay that fee, we don't turn anybody away. If you want to be on stage with us, you are certainly welcome.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Excellent. All kids can come and be
Yes.
part of it. I was a theater kid too. I grew up as part of a children's theater company, not here, but back in my home state of West Virginia. And so I know there are a lot of benefits to be gained from participating in theater, self-confidence and presence and poise. How do you see that developing in the kids that take part in Wild Horse?
It is amazing. We have had some kids who, were so timid. I don't know if it was embarrassed, but just afraid to be up there in front of everybody during auditions, for example. We've had kids, barely get out saying their ABCs or something. But once we tell them, you're in the show, you've got a part, once they're on stage with those other kids, they just get so comfortable and they love being there. And so that's been amazing to watch some of the kids, who weren't sure they wanted to do it. And then once they get around the other kids and some of our older kids, the teenage kids, really take pride in helping those kids along and trying to get them over their nervousness from being on stage. And we've had a lot of people say afterwards, how beneficial it was for them, public speaking, for example, or just, that self-confidence that you mentioned. It's just a great experience and good, lifelong lessons that you can take on later in other things that you do in life.
Let's talk a little bit more about this specific production.
Yes.
Mary Poppins. This is a story most people know about the famous nanny Mary Poppins who comes into the Banks household to care for those children. How can we get tickets?
You can get tickets if you go to our website again, wildhorsetheater.com, and you can follow there. You can walk up. Our performances are at the Performance Hall of the Brewery Arts Center, and we'll have tickets available if you're just walking in the days of the show. Again, we run 2 weekends, open November 30th, a Friday, so we have Friday evening shows, Saturday evening shows, and then matinees on Saturdays and Sundays for those 2 weekends. Pretty easy to get tickets. So you can purchase them online. There's no fee for using the Showtix website to get those, or just walking up at the door.
All right, fantastic.
So if you're interested in prices, adults are $12, seniors and students are $10, kids under 12 are $5, and then if it's 3 and under, if you sit in a lap, you're free.
All right, so bring the whole family.
Yes.
This is a great way to kick off the holiday season.
Yes.
Right there between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Exactly.
An exciting production by the Wild Horse Children's Theater right here in Carson City.
Exactly.
All right. Michele Van Geel, thank you so much for joining us today. And
thanks for having me.
A little bit about the show.
All right. Thanks, Cortney.
And thanks to all of you for joining us for this week's edition of It's Your City. As a reminder, today's show is brought to you by Scoops Ice Cream and Soup Restaurant, located on McFadden Plaza in Carson City. If your business is interested in sponsoring a future edition of It's Your City, please contact Darla at the address shown on your screen. I'm your host, Courtney Bloomer. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.